So we know that this is at least partially true about Lenin's statement, he who shall not work shall not eat, right? Because specifically in that line in State and Revolution where Lenin remarks how it'd be utopian to think that people will at once learn to work for society without some sort of law at all, right? But this isn't bootstrap mentality. This isn't bootstrap ideology, right? This isn't if you don't work, you starve. And we know that this is both partially true and that what I just said is true when we look at the early policies of the Bolshevik Revolution. One thing that we have to keep in mind, though, is that the Bolsheviks actually inherited a food crisis. There were food riots happening in cities in Russia at the time. And we know from reports that you're hungry. It's a food crisis in my house. I'll be right back. And reports from the time show that in major cities, the food reserves were actually very dangerously low. And so these food riots and these conditions are actually partly what led to the revolutionary situation. If you don't know what that is, Google Lenin revolutionary situation. It's far more important than any of this. So we know that that it created the revolutionary situation that led to the Bolsheviks being able to seize power, right? What Lenin was referring to was more so just the economic law, right? And so in the first phases of the revolution, things like insurance or healthcare and food rations were linked to the economic industries. That's how they were distributed. So we see partially what Lenin's saying ring true. However, they were in a food crisis. There literally was not enough food. And so they right away, but this wasn't like they just let everybody starve, right? It wasn't simply, workers and soldiers get rations and nobody else gets anything. There was numerous other ways to acquire food, and there were other local and government-run programs. And within just a few years after the revolution, they developed a national insurance program, healthcare. And the way that you address these economic laws that Lenin's pointed out is through policy, which takes a little bit of time. It doesn't happen miraculously overnight after the revolution. These things are corrected through policy. The material conditions, though, here in the United States under late-stage capitalism are far different. We actually have overproduction. What we produce in a year could feed the entire world. So it's not a matter of there not being food in our reserves. It's a matter of distribution. It's a matter of controlling that distribution. So our revolution can look very far different, and that economic law that Lenin was pointing out may not necessarily ring true for us under our conditions today, right?